Hitler's final 48 hours. How do they even document this? Did he like journal it or some shit? Have an assistant just say everything?
This video has been sponsored and approved by Incogni. 30th of April, 1945. General Helmut Weidling stands at the entrance of the Führer bunker. In his hand is a message that can save thousands of lives. Before giving the message to Hitler, he must pass through 3 security checkpoints.
Yo, is this the bunker?
That turn
The whole
away
bunker?
even the highest-ranking officials.
Damn. I don't think I've ever actually seen the bunker or like anything about the bunker at all.
Around him, Berlin is collapsing.
Based on a true story or is a true story? Hold on a minute now, because those are two different things. Two very different things. This is actually his final 48 hours? What is going on with my hair? It's sticking to me. I'm all sweaty and shit. It's hot as fuck.
Failure is not an option. Walking down the corridor, he sees the first guard checkpoint. He hands the soldier sitting at the desk his identification and says,
I'm General Helmut Weidling. I urgently need to see the Führer.
Weidling gets a nod of approval. The soldier gives a 2-tap code, and the hermetic seal is broken. Weidling walks in. The easiest checkpoint is passed, but as he moves closer to Hitler, the security only grows stricter. General Weidling has just entered the first area known as the Vorbunker. Before he can deliver the message, he'll have
I feel like when you're a general, though, you kind of just got access. You got access at that point. You got access almost all the way there.
to pass by 2 more checkpoints. Underneath him is a floor that is 8.5 feet deep, made of concrete. Above him, the ceiling is 9 feet thick.
Yo, damn. So they're like 10 feet on the ground, and they have also like a 9-foot barrier underneath them. Damn.
Even though they might be protected
Why at the bottom though? Is that just because in case like something comes up underneath, or like it explodes? Does that help with explosions or?
from bombs, it's the thought of capture that creates intense fear and anxiety inside. The American and British forces are advancing rapidly through Western Germany, capturing critical major cities Munich, Nuremberg, and Hamburg. The Nazis' position is becoming weaker by the day. The first section of the Vorbunker holds a huge air purification system running constantly, giving the underground city its breathing power and preventing gas attacks. The dining area lies along the corridor, right next to the kitchen, where meals are prepared for everyone, including Hitler's vegetarian dishes. Next is
Hitler was vegetarian?
the storage and food pantry.
Sorry, that kind of just threw me off a little bit.
With the city surrounded, Weidling knows the bunker's rations will soon be depleted. Down the hallway, he focuses on the next security checkpoint, the entrance to the Führer bunker where Hitler and his most important Nazis live. Here is Magda Goebbels' bedroom and lounge, where she and her 6 children live. This is Joseph Goebbels' family, the propaganda chief and one of Hitler's most trusted men, known to be one of the most violent anti-Semitic members of the party. Neighboring the Goebbels is the guard and guest quarters. This area slept Hitler's personal staff, including his 3 secretaries, military personnel, bodyguards, and temporary guests.
Is this still around as like a museum or something? I feel like that would be kind of cool to like see, because this is massive. This is an insane bunker, bro. This is insane.
Weidling is currently the head of the Berlin defense area,
The dudes, but
the last thing stopping the Soviets from completely taking over the city. Despite this high rank, he still might not get permission to pass this second checkpoint,
I need to speak to the Führer.
says Weidling.
What's your business?
Replies the guard. Weidling looks at him sternly and says,
That's not for you to know.
the guard inspects his identification and picks up the phone. The Führer bunker is protected by a nearly 12-foot thick, steel-reinforced concrete ceiling. On top of that is a few feet of compacted earth. Alongside this, to give the High Command more protection, the floor is 6.5 feet thick, and each room is protected by walls over 1 meter wide. This guard post is his only way in or out.
Your weapons, please.
Weidling hands the soldier at the door his pistol.
Go through.
Replies the guard at the desk. Weidling walks down the stairs. As he approaches the next door, Wilhelm Bergdorf comes out and asks Weidling what he needs that's so urgent. Weidling responds,
I need to speak to the Führer immediately.
So even the general had to get like a very specific reason to see him. I figured the general would just have access to him. It's very like one important person talking to another important person. I figured they would just have direct access instead of just this nonsense.
The Führer cannot speak to you right now. I will relay the message.
This message is for me to give to the Führer. This city is in chaos. Let me through.
Bergdorf looks at him suspiciously.
We still don't even know what the message is yet. We just know, I guess it could save lives or some shit.
Soldiers grip their guns tighter. By this stage of the war, trust had nearly vanished. Treachery was on the rise, and confidential information was being leaked to enemies daily. Weidling's letter could save thousands of lives, but he won't be let through this final checkpoint unless he can convince them of his urgency. A large airplane shell hits nearby, causing the bunker to shake and dust falls from the ceiling. Weidling.
I must deliver this message.
Bergdorf quickly grabs Weidling's arm and pulls him through the last security checkpoint. As Weidling enters the Führer bunker, the tensions grow stronger. Even though he has managed to pass all 3 checkpoints, Hitler has executed officers for less extreme messages. Despite housing the most important Nazis, what you find inside the Führer bunker is far from what you might imagine. Meters of damp air and mold stand in the way of General Weidling and Hitler. The whole bunker was built underneath the water table, so generators in the room to his left work overtime to keep the lights on. To the right is the typewriter's room. Young women sit at their desks. Not even a week ago, they were transcribing orders and working diligently, but now they sit idly. The men pierce their gaze up and see into the furthest room. A man begins walking towards them. Initially, this room was one of the staff bedrooms, but it's been taken over by the man approaching. Inside, there's a small single bed, desk, and closet. This man is Martin Bormann, Hitler's most trusted secretary. Bormann knows that Weidling and Bergdorf standing together is not good news. Huddled and speaking in low tones, Weidling explains the situation. Bergdorf agrees to get Goebbels, and Bormann
Yo, what is in this letter, man? What the fuck is in this letter? It's really starting to irritate me.
agrees to fetch Hitler. Then they will all meet in the map room, where Weidling will break the news. On the walls of this corridor hang paintings espousing the Nazi ideology that is crumbling outside. This large corridor serves 2 purposes. The top command rooms are connected to this space, which is where they gather and discuss strategy. It also serves as the waiting area for the more intimate conference area, the map room. Almost everyone, including Helmut Weidling, had witnessed Hitler full of rage, madness, and pity curse out high command. Bergdorf
Yeah, man, he's strung out on meth probably.
knocks on the door to the right of the conference room. After a moment, he hears.
Komm herein.
He enters. This part of the Führer bunker serves several roles. The room is both Goebbels and the bunker's doctor's office. Inside, there's a small medical bed and cabinets with medicines and tools. There's also a desk where Goebbels works. The farthest back is Dr. Ludwig Stumpfeger's bedroom. He is Hitler's personal physician and surgeon. Inside, there's a small cramped bed and nightstand with a lamp. Next to it is Goebbels' personal bedroom. He switches between sleeping here and his family's room above in the Vor bunker. Bergdorf gets Goebbels' attention and tells him there's an emergency and that he needs to join them in the map room immediately. Opposite to Goebbels' office, across the corridor, is Hitler's section of the bunker. The first room is Hitler's office. Inside, Bormann sees modest items and a small desk with a black phone. He walks into the next room. This is Hitler's lounge.
This is very detailed. Very detailed. I feel like they're adding just a whole lot of unnecessary details. There's a black phone in the corner. Cool, bro. Let's keep on going.
It has a wide couch placed against the back wall. In the corner is an oxygen tank. He always kept one nearby because he feared suffocating. In front is a small coffee
It's a valid fear when you're that far underground.
table with papers and a thick red rug underneath. On the opposite wall
rug
is a
really
small
ain't red,
desk with
but
some
okay.
books and a large painting of Frederick the Great, Hitler's hero, hanging on the wall. Hitler shared this living space with Bondi, his German shepherd. To the left of this is his partner Eva Braun's room. Inside, there's a small bed, closet, and table. Hitler's room is not much different. It has a slightly larger table with 2 chairs, a small bed, some cabinets, and a picture of his mother, which he would take wherever he went. The room also contains a large safe. Rather than expensive belongings, experts believe sensitive documents were locked inside, including Nazi dealings with foreign governments and highly classified intelligence. As it was lost to history, the truth will never be known. Bormann tells Hitler that Weidling has an urgent message that they both need to
How is it
attend to
lost?
in the map room.
They just glazed over that detail of how it was lost. They were just like, yeah, well, there's a black phone. Yeah, these documents were just lost. Don't really know what happened to them. They just glaze over that detail, but they're just every other detail they're pretty keen on.
Inside the small war room, the decorations are sparse. It has a cold metal table at its center and a large outdated map hanging on the wall. It shows the greatest extent of the now long gone Nazi Empire. Weidling takes out a map and extends it on the table. Whatever happens next is beyond his control. Not too long ago, Hitler experienced one of the darkest moments of his life. His second in command, Heinrich Himmler, the chief architect of the Holocaust, had gone behind his back and tried to negotiate a peace treaty with the Allies. Hitler found out about this secret negotiation through a BBC radio report. Hitler raged at this betrayal and told those still with him in the bunker complex that Himmler's secret negotiations were the worst treachery he had ever known. Hitler ordered Himmler's arrest.
Bro was just trying to stay alive at that point. He was just trying to stay alive no matter what.
And the people associated with the negotiations were to be shot on sight.
He knew it was coming. He knew the end was coming. He was just trying to negotiate something where he stayed alive.
Weidling is deeply concerned about the punishment he might face, even though his circumstances are very different. A small crowd begins to gather, and the various members of the remaining high command are inspecting Weidling's map. Hitler walks into the room.
Please, at ease.
He says. Weidling's moment of truth arrives. He knows it can't possibly go well.
The Soviets are achieving consistent major breakthroughs. We have been pushed back hundreds of meters from all major directions. They are less than a kilometer away from the bunker. There is worse news, my Führer.
Weidling feels the room close in on him as he delivers the important message.
Berlin will run out of ammunition within the next 24 hours. We have only a small number of bullets. Airdrops are no longer reaching our defenses, and we have only a small amount of soldiers left.
Hitler does not interrupt him. He stares at the map.
My Führer, I suggest we try to escape this city. We have already lost 15,000 of our youngest soldiers.
Hitler breaks his sentence.
That's what young people are for.
Weidling almost stutters.
To fucking die, just lay down their lives. What was in the letter? Was that it? Was that in the letter? That's all it was? The Soviets were cracking down on them?
He goes for his trump card.
I have
here we
already
go.
drafted an order. We can begin the escape immediately. All we need is your signature.
At this moment, Goebbels speaks up.
What you are suggesting is a fantasy. The Führer cannot simply run away.
Weidling's heart beats rapidly. Sweat forms on his forehead. Everyone in the room knows that the once almighty Führer is no longer the commander he once was. Within the last weeks, he has become delusional and refuses to believe that victory is not possible. He speaks one last time.
Gentlemen, we won't leave Berlin. Reach out to the generals outside the city. They will be able to deliver the decisive blow to the Soviets.
He stands up and exits the room. Weidling stands in silence. On April 30, 1945, Adolf Hitler was found dead alongside Eva Braun, whom he married in the conference room less than 40 hours earlier. Heinz Linge, Hitler's valet, was the first to discover the scene.
Wait, you just married her before they killed themselves?
While looking for Hitler, he smelt gunpowder in the damp air outside his living quarters. However, he could not enter the room due to the door being locked. He immediately called for Bormann, and the two men kicked open the door and laid eyes upon the aftermath.
I thought he did it when like they were almost in, like they were in the bunker and they were ready to get his ass. I thought it was like a last minute thing. I didn't know he did this like premeditated.
Both bodies were taken to the Führerbunker's emergency exit, which led to the Reich Chancellery Garden above the bunker. Resources were so scarce that SS guards hastily buried Hitler's body in a shell
Yo, what if he did actually escape?
crater and siphoned gasoline from abandoned cars
There always was that theory that he just made it out to Argentina or wherever, but like,
nearby to burn the remains. Once the fire had died down, the leftovers were buried with mud and dirt to conceal them entirely. In the hours that followed, several high-ranking Nazi officials in the bunker also refused to surrender. This includes Joseph Goebbels, the Minister of Propaganda, who manipulated the entire country, laid to rest his 6 innocent children before himself alongside his wife, Magda.
he killed his kids?
General Weidling decided to surrender, hoping to save the remaining lives under his command. On May 2nd, he ordered the last defenders of Berlin to lay down their arms. However, isolated groups of German troops without this knowledge continued to resist until the unconditional surrender on May 7th. The structure that once housed Nazi Germany's high command was blown up by Soviet and later East German forces in the post-war years. However, because of its robust design, some of it still remains today, dismantled and abandoned. The man responsible for the deaths of 6 million Jews, 2 million Poles, 3 million Soviet prisoners of war alongside the destruction of Europe was unceremoniously buried in an unmarked grave that today is a parking lot.
Damn. Maybe he did actually, you know, go with that escape plan that was in that letter. Maybe he did, and that he just faked his death. I thought it was like the Allies were like encroaching in on his ass, and then he did it. But like that was pre-done. His own guys like burned him and buried him. I didn't know it was like that. Damn.